Call me Triple H the way I don't know what to do with women. My name is Bravo IX, and I've been thinking a lot about women's wrestling recently. Back in the day, we're all accustomed to the bra and panty matches, the gown matches, anything that was attractive or sexy, women were a part of it. Back then, women having a 15-minute match was unheard of. Back then, women main eventing anything was unheard of. And it got me thinking, what is a match type that women were a part of that is almost forgotten? There's one match type in WWE that's barely even talked about when it comes to the women, and I'm talking about the mud matches. And while I said they were mud matches, they weren't really in mud for the majority of the time. Some took place in eggnog, chocolate pudding, at some point gravy. Yes, even the mimosa match with Chris Jericho is technically considered one of these matches. So I thought, what would be an interesting way to talk about these matches than to rate them? And while I said a lot of these matches don't involve mud, they do involve being in some sort of pool. That is going to be the criteria going for this list. As long as the match happens to have a pool with a liquid or something supposed to resemble mud, it counts. So I'm going to rank them. The top 8 pool mud matches, there, whatever, however you want to classify, top, I don't know.
Roxanne, all she wanna do is party all night. Goddamn, Roxanne, never gonna love me, but it's alright. She think I'm an asshole, she think I'm a player. She keep running back though, only cause I pay her. Roxanne, all she wanna do is party all night.
Number 8. At WrestleMania 25, WWE wanted to give women's wrestling a spotlight by making the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royale, a 25 Diva Battle Royale consisting of both past and present superstars. What's a better way of showcasing this women than not giving them individual entrances, but by having them all come out to Snoop Dogg? And what's a better way of showing appreciation to the women than having a man win the match? That's right, the winner of the match was Santina Marella, a cross-dressed Santino Marella playing a woman character. And you can always give it to Vince for somehow always being ahead of the political climate. This basically made the Miss WrestleMania title a joke. And what's a better way to show us a joke than a pig match? In 2009, Vicky Guerrero would challenge Santina Marella to the Miss Divas title at Extreme Rules in a pig pen match. Vicky Guerrero, as the GM at the time, would use her power to make it a 2-on-1, getting help from Chavo Guerrero. This match is on pay-per-view and it is very, very boring. Going into this, I kind of expected a lot of the pig pen matches to be silly and fun, and at least make it look like both of them were having fun doing this match. It's just Chavo beating up Santina. It's basically just Chavo beating up Santina Marella until the big spot with Vicky getting hit. There is really no comedic angle to this until the very last minute, which is very weird coming from 3 people who were very comedic at the time. It makes for a terrible viewing experience. Number 7, Melina versus Candice Michelle. In 2007, at One Night Stand, Candice and Melina would meet in a pudding match, somebody called Bill Cosby, for, and get this, the women's title. This is gonna be a running theme throughout this whole list. This just to show you how bad women's wrestling was at this time. Candice versus Melina was a very boring match where the novelty was it being in pudding, but nothing interesting really happens with the pudding. They throw it. At some point, Candice and Melina are outside of the pudding. They're covered. They're throwing pudding to each other, and Melina goes to throw the pudding to Candice, and Candice falls completely on accident. She falls, and the pudding gets what I can assume is on a fan's face, because at some point Melina stops what she's doing, kind of drops character, her being the heel, and apologizes, and Candice just grabs Melina and throws her back into the pudding. And I have to think that Melina was just very apologetic to the fan afterwards. Nothing in this match is very memorable. Could have just been a normal wrestling match. I don't know who in the company really wanted to watch pudding. Number 6, Stacy Keibler versus Tori Wilson. December 24th, Christmas Eve, is a time for remembering. It's a time to gather around with your family. It's a time to eat some of your favorite meals, and a time to watch 2 women fight in eggnog. What a better way to celebrate Christ. I like to think that somebody in the production meeting was drinking eggnog and thought, what would happen if 2 very attractive women would go in and slap each other's butts? Other than Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler coming out dressed as Santa, at least nice, being in theme with the holidays. Some ass slapping in this match. Again, nothing far too interesting happens in this match. I promise some of these matches might get interesting. Number 5, Trish Stratus versus Stacy Keibler. This match starts with a segment with Eric Bischoff coming and telling us everything we've already known.
Nobody really cares about women's wrestling.
And again, this is, like I said, just a very generic pool match where nothing interesting happens for the most part, except for the opening part where Trish Stratus is watching from the stage, and then Stacy Keibler comes out, grabs Trish Stratus, and just flings her Zack Ryder style into the pool. That spot alone has to give it the top 5 spot. Number 4, Hunter Helms versus Henry O. Godwin. This is the only actual match on the list. For all the other matches, you had to pin your opponent. This one, the rules are much simpler, where you just have to throw in your opponent into the pig pen. This is a very normal, by the ropes, boring match, but it's more so the two characters going at it that makes this a little bit more interesting. Hunter Helmsley being the rich, snobby character versus Henry O. Godwin, the country boy hero. This is a perfect match for someone like Hunter to be a part of because of his character. It's also just a very interesting time capsule, seeing how Triple H's career panned out. You never see people who the company believes to be top stars get put in a position like this. And I gotta give it to Triple H. He sells getting thrown into the pig pen perfectly, trying to get back up and then falling down very comedically. He is perfect in this. It's something that you would never see Stone Cold do, something you wouldn't see Seth Rollins do, something you wouldn't see Roman Reigns. Oh, okay, never mind that one. Just go to the next one. Number 3, Trish Stratus versus Stacy Keibler. Trish and Stacy seem to be reoccurring members of this list. I wonder why. It's a Thanksgiving special of SmackDown, and what's a better way of bringing in Thanksgiving with good food, great family, and I already did this bit before. But now this time, instead of it being on eggnog, we have gravy. Now this match is very boring, not interesting at all, and the finish is a very weird submission hold, and you might be wondering, why would you make this number 4? It is quite possibly one of the funniest visuals, seeing 2 grown women in office chairs standing on opposite sides of the table on Thanksgiving, then devolves into a food fight into a pool of gravy, and it's something only someone crazy could think of. And by the absurd visual, which is I feel like what these matches should be about, I have to give this much more points than anything else. Number 2, Tori versus Miss Kitty. This match is quite possibly the worst match on this list. But why is it number 2? First off, this match is for the women's title. I cannot stress this enough. This match is for the women's championship, being defended by Miss Kitty, which I have to say, bonus points for how Miss Kitty looks. I gotta be honest. But why is this number 2? You might be asking. It is the absurdity of this match. At some point, X-Pac shows up in full scuba gear, ready to save the people in the Ocean Gate submarine. And then for some reason, Kane shows up, attacks X-Pac, only for the Road Dogs to show up and attack Kane. And then they all walk away as if nothing happens. And Miss Kitty just wins. Someone in the back just really wanted some fantasy to be seen today. Some other person was like, oh, but we have to like keep this storyline going, so maybe we just mix them in together. And I know it might be cheating to say the most interesting part of the match are people who weren't even involved in the match to begin with, but it is genuinely such a fun time watching this match. I can't believe I'm saying a pudding match was overbooked. Hey guys, sorry, post-production Bravo here. I was editing this video and I came across another mud match. This match with Miss Kitty and Ivory is probably the more unique match out of all of the other mud matches. First off, just on the stage alone, instead of it being a pool like every other mud match, it's a ring with actual ropes on the side. Now, if you thought that it was gonna be like an actual match where they're running off the ropes and maybe doing like a couple spots, you're completely wrong. It's just for show. Also, again, this match is for the women's titles. It is insane how many times the women's title has come up on this list. This match also is hosted by Jeff Jarrett on a random SmackDown. Not that he's like the guest referee, it's just that he is like the announcer, like in this match, the way someone wins is completely different. So the other mud matches have been through pinfall or submission. This one ends because somebody gets their top taken. But after the match is done, Mae Young and Moolah come out and Jeff Jarrett throws both of them in the mud. I guess this must have been around the time that Chyna and Jeff Jarrett were beefing. Jeff Jarrett is like on the edge of the ropes, like taunting everybody, and then Chyna just comes in and kicks him into the mud. During the Authority angle, Brock Lesnar would make his return after quitting the summer before, attacking both Triple H and Vince McMahon. Through kayfabe, it's later revealed on that Vicky Guerrero is the one who officially signed Brock Lesnar back to the WWE. This causing a performance review done by Vince, Steph, and Triple H all on Vicky. Vicky would then be fired from her job, coming back the next week begging for her job back to Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie would then give Vicky the chance to get her job back by being in a mud match. I can't even call it a match. It is far more a segment, but what it does and the story leading up to it is one of the best stories. In one segment, Vicky Guerrero, a character who has been booed for years, gets cheered after saying, "Excuse me." If you would have told me what would have come first, pigs fly or Vicky getting cheered, I'd say pigs fly. The match was set. It was very simple. Stephanie McMahon comes out, says, "I'm not gonna fight you. Here's other superstars. First person fall in the mud loses." Vicky, through no actual skill, all luck, gets everybody else thrown into the mud, but in the last second, she looks at the crowd, and while the yes movement is going, it's about to do the yes chant. Stephanie comes from behind, kicks Vicky in, and officially loses her job. Now Vicky, having nothing to lose, grabs Stephanie, throws her into the mud, walks out with Eddie Guerrero's theme music playing. Vicky Guerrero was a character, was one of the most annoying heels, and in one segment took all the hatred that people had for her and completely erased it. Hearing Eddie Guerrero's theme as Vicky walks out, retires with thank yous is a very fitting end for the character. And say what you want about Stephanie McMahon around this time, the fact that she was willing to get into the mud and for a good solid minute or two go back to her husband when he was in the mud and really fall in it and play around in it, she really knew how to play her part. The fact that this was the last mud match or pudding match or whatever that WWE has done, and has done for the second one that Vicky has been a part of, for her to retire in this way, you have to put it at number one. I hope Vicky Guerrero doesn't do anything crazy after she retires. That was the list. Tell me what you guys thought. Like and comment below, and if you made it this far, tell me what other matches you guys want me to take a look at. I've been Bravo IX, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.